Hey guys, welcome back. So let me ask you a question. How many of you have met someone that just has an extraordinary dynamic personality? There is just something magnetic about that person. Whenever they walked into a room, people were just drawn to them. So the main question I have is, what was it about that person's personality that was so magnetic? Maybe that person is even you. What is your personality like? My personality, I could be loud and obnoxious, but I can also be very logical at times. But here's the interesting thing. You know who else has a personality? Your business. Your brand has a personality. So, what is the personality of your brand? Is it something that people cannot wait to do business with? Is it fun? Is it energetic? Is it efficient? Is it cost effective? Or is it possible that your brand has a personality that actually turns people away and makes them not want to do business with you? Right? So I have a personality, you have a personality, your brand has a personality, but more importantly, someone else has a personality, and that's your target audience. And what you got to think of is, what is the personality of your target audience? What makes them tick? What motivates them? What do they enjoy to do on their pastime? What do they find entertaining? What amuses them? What grabs their attention? You see, as business owners, if we are able to understand the personality of our target audience, it allows us to do a lot of really effective things, such as now we can create customized marketing messages geared to that person's personality to resonate with them and to draw them in. We can also create products and solutions that is exactly what they are looking for and what they are willing to buy. So this video is all about understanding the personality of our target audience, and it's a word that we use that's called buyer persona. Now, when we're talking about business is about empathy. Now, I didn't say sympathy. Those are two different things. It's about empathy. It's about being able to be in the shoes of your target audience. What path do they walk? How do they feel? What do they think about different elements? You have to be able to empathize with your target audience, especially when you're creating marketing campaigns and you're developing new products. So actually being able to understand the personality of our target audience helps us to do that. All right. What I want you to do is take a look at this slide right here. What's her personality like? By looking at it, we can tell she is a mom. She absolutely adores her child. Look at her eyes as she's looking at her child, right? You can see the love and excitement in her eyes. What do you think motivates her? Well, I'd probably say family. And how would we resonate with an individual if this was our target audience? Well, we might want to work on the health and safety of your family, the well-being of your children, the excitement of helping your child to grow up and reach their potential, making your family happy. So just by looking at this individual, if we were able to create a profile on her, hopefully that would help us to create products as well as marketing messages that resonates with this individual. But let's take a look at another one, a completely different personality. All right, what's this guy's personality? Looks like he's trying really hard to win that karaoke contest down the street, isn't he, right? So when you look at him, you can tell he wants to be a singer. He's into music. He probably wants to get noticed and hopefully try to make it big. So how could you resonate with an individual such as this? Maybe you could help out with self-promotion. Maybe you can help him get into the limelight. Maybe you can give him singing tips. Maybe he might even need some wardrobe assistance, all right? But the key is the same. Creating a personality profile on our target audience helps us to resonate with them. It helps us to empathize with them. And it also not only humanizes our brand, but it also humanizes our business. We're not just selling products to robots. We're selling products and services to real live people. And by creating a buyer persona of these different individuals and the different segments that we do business with, it helps us to humanize the entire process, which in return resonates with our brand. All right, so when we move forward, how exactly do you create a buyer persona? Now, I want to do a quick little timeout right here. The word buyer persona may sound like a big fancy thing. It's really not. It's really simple. Buyer persona. It is the personality of your buyer. It is that simple. What is the personality of your buyer? That's what we're trying to do right here. Now, when we are creating a personality of our buyers or a buyer persona, or we're trying to create a personality profile on our target audience, there are two key things that we got to keep in mind that we're trying to accomplish, right? So number one, what we need to do is identify their personality. What entertains them? Who are those individuals around them? What do they do for enjoyment on their pastime? That's the first thing we would need to do, is identify their personality. But there's also a second thing we need to try to do. And this is one of the most important things, is we need to be able to identify what motivates them. Why do they get up in the morning? What causes them to do X? Or what causes them to do Y? What are the key motivations, right? So here is a step-by-step task list on how you can actually create buyer personas, effective buyer personas for your target audience. All right, number one, you have to create a buyer persona ideally for every segment you have. Now, I know you probably just fell off your chair right now thinking, oh my goodness, I got to create a buyer persona for every single segment I do business with. I know at first that can sound daunting, but here's why this is ideal. Remember, different segments will use your brand for different reasons. So if an individual is using your brand for a different reason, well, that means we might need different messaging and different product solutions and offerings for that specific reason. All right, does that make sense? Now, even though it's ideal for you to create a buyer persona for every segment that you have, don't kill yourself off the bat. What I want you to do is remember, we actually just had a video on segment sequencing. What segment is best for you to focus first? What segment is best for you to focus on second? What segment is best for you to focus on third? So on and so forth, right? That's how you want to approach this, right? So that first segment, that most profitable segment, that segment that's the path to least resistant, do a buyer persona on that segment first. Then maybe if there's, 2 to 3 top segments that you're going after, you can do a buyer persona on those segments right there. Don't worry about the later segments yet. When you get time to expand your business to these other segments, okay, perfect. Then you can do a buyer persona for that group. But when you start, you really only need to focus on those segments that are your core segments that you're going after first, right? So only start with the 1 to 3 segments. Don't kill yourself, but you have to identify what segments are you going after first, and let's create a buyer persona on those groups, all right? So let's just do one at a time. Next, once you've selected remember, we're only going to do one segment at a time. This is really important, one segment at a time. Once we select that segment we want to create a buyer persona first, now what we need to do is this is called the descriptive categories, all right? We need to actually describe this segment's personality. So the first thing you need to do is focus on their demographics, right? So what exactly is a demographic? A demographic is a physical attribute of the individual, right? A physical attribute. So I'm obviously male. I won't tell you my age. I wish I was 24. I'm not 24 anymore, sadly, right? I'm engaged. My occupation is a professor and business trainer. My nationality is I'm half Italian. I'm half Irish. I am white. I am not a parent, not a grandparent, soon to be married, not yet. All right. When we're talking about demographics, again, it's the physical attributes of the segment, right? So what is their age? Now, you're probably going to have a range, right? Maybe if they're young adults, the ages is 25 to 40. If they're senior execs, maybe the age is 45 to 65. If it's high school, the ages are probably going to be 14 to 18. College, 18 to 22. You get the point, right? There's probably going to be a range, right? So what's the age of the demographic? Are you going after male? Are you going after female? Or are you going after males and females? Location. Is geography important to you? If you're a local business, geography obviously is important because you're probably going to focus on a local geographical region that is around your business. Nationality, race, is that important to you? Whether the individual is single, whether they're married, parent, grandparent, right? So, for example, if there was an Italian club and they were focused on Italian Americans, obviously it would be important to target individuals that have an Italian heritage. If you're a local coffee shop, that element of whether you're Italian or not really isn't important, right? So there are demographics that mean a lot to you. There are demographics that probably don't mean anything to you. Pick the physical attributes that actually mean something to your business, right? Next, people. Who are the people in your segment's life that is most important to them, right? So is it, if they are a parent, that would be their family members. If you were an athlete, it could be your teammates or your schoolmates. If you were in a business, it could be your employees and your customers, all right? What people does your target audience hang out with? What different individuals do they associate with? What type of people are most important to that group, okay? The reason why this is important, so if your target audience is parents with little children, obviously the people that are most important to them are their children. So if you are a brand that can actually benefit their children, obviously that's going to appeal to them. If you are an athlete and the people who are important to you are your teammates, if you can do something that brings the teammates up along with yourself, you could grab their attention, okay? This is something that we can actually use not only in networking in future sections, but we can also use this in marketing messaging, right? Next, entertainment. What do they do on their pastime? If it's a Friday night, what do they enjoy doing? If they have a night off, what do they enjoy doing? If they have 15 minutes of a break at work, what do they do to amuse their time for the short amount of time that they have, okay? Is it going to the movies? Is it traveling? Is it going to nice restaurants? Is it just chilling out, hanging with their friends? Is it going to sporting events? Now, you might say, oh, my target audience loves to do everything. Again, don't overwhelm yourself. What are some of the key characteristics that they enjoy doing, right? So if you are let's say if you are an athlete, obviously that person probably enjoys going to live sporting events, right? If it is a parent, that person might actually enjoy doing family activities, going on vacations with the family, going to amusement parks with the family, having family movie nights or family dinner nights, all right? So you're getting the point. What exactly does this individual do for entertainment? Maybe they like comedy. Maybe they like horror movies. Maybe they like drama, okay? Again, whatever is most important to this target audience. Now, groups and social follows. If this individual is a parent, maybe they're involved in homeowners associations where they live. Maybe they're involved in PTAs. Maybe they're involved in sports clubs for their children. What groups or associations is your target segment a part of? If your target segment is a young professional or a business professional, chambers of commerce, local networking events, industry-specific organizations. The reason why this is important is because in future presentations and strategies, we're going to talk about networking, we're going to talk about sales, we're going to talk about joint promotions. And if this segment is a part of a group, maybe you go after homeowners associations. Maybe you try to partner up with sports teams at school. Maybe you partner up with business associations, all right? This helps you identify where your target is and who they associate with. I also have social follows. Who are they following on social media? If they're an entrepreneur, maybe it's Gary Vee, maybe it's Grant Cardone. If it's sports, maybe it's one of the famous sports celebrities right now. The reason why this is important is because when we get into advertising, especially if we do social media advertising, we can actually target individuals that have interests aligned with specific athletes or celebrities or public figures. Okay, so does that make sense? And then finally, memorable experiences. What are some of the memorable experiences that your target audience might experience? If it's an athlete, maybe they actually caught the winning touchdown in the state championship. If they are a wrestler, maybe they actually got that pin that helped their team win the match. If it was a parent, maybe it was seeing their child's first dance recital. Maybe it was nostalgic, where you think of those good old days where you'd go to the lake on the weekends with your grandparents by the house. Maybe it's the old-fashioned Christmases that you guys used to have, right? What is important? What important experiences has your target audience experienced? What's memorable for them and what's nostalgic for them? We see nostalgia used consistently in marketing messages and marketing communications. Coca-Cola is notorious for it. Nike had a fantastic ad that was called Snow Day that resonated with children that are now adults who lived in northern states and northern cities where when it snowed out, schools canceled and all the neighborhood kids get together and have a pickup game of football. Nostalgia and memorable moments are really important to our target audience, and we can actually use that to create product offerings as well as messaging. All right. So the second thing is a descriptive category on our target audience, and you can see we got a number of different elements right there. Now, next, passions, goals, problems, frequently asked questions, and ideal image. This is what we call active descriptors. This is what we call active descriptors. And the reason why they are active is because these items right here motivates our target audience to act. These are extremely powerful. Okay. So for example, I'm going to take goals, for example. What are your target's goals? What are their ambitions? What do they inspire you to do? Because I can almost guarantee, depending on what their goals are, maybe they get up extra early every single morning to fulfill those goals. I have a lot of athletes in my classes, and they have to get up sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to hit the weight room. Why in the world is someone getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock to go to the weight room? Why? Because they want to be a champion. They want to train hard. They want to compete well. That is one of their goals, is to be an All-American or a national champion. And in order to do that, they have to make sacrifices, and their actions have to dictate what they want to be. Maybe the goal is to start your own business. So if your goal is to start your own business, what is that going to motivate you to do? You're probably going to read business books. You're going to study successful entrepreneurs. You're going to go to business events. You're going to do whatever you can to learn about business to fulfill that goal. Maybe your goal is to give the best lifestyle you possibly can for your children. So what are you going to do? You're probably going to work harder. You're going to save your money. You're not going to spend money on yourself. You're going to spend money on your children instead. You're going to learn about how you can do certain things to make your children happy. Maybe you're going to save up to go on a family vacation, all right? These 5 elements motivate our target audience to act. Okay, so passions. What is your target audience passionate about? What are their hobbies? What are their interests? What is important to them? Okay. Now, again, you could make a list that's a mile long. Focus on probably the top 5 to 10 in each one of these categories. And if you can, do your best to focus on the ones that your business can help. Okay. Next, goals. We already talked about that. What are their ambitions? What are they trying to accomplish? Problems. This is an interesting one. And this can often go in line with the goals. What problems are they facing? What are the pains of those problems? What is their biggest fear? And more importantly, what problems is your target audience facing right now that they are trying to overcome? If you are an athlete and one of the problems that you have is you're not fast enough, What might you do? You might work harder on your legs. You might work on your stamina. You might work on your conditioning. If you are a business owner and one of your problems is a lack of capital, what might you do? You might try to get a loan. You might try to get investors. All right. What problems is your target audience facing that they're actively seeking information on? For some of you who've owned a house, how many of you have actually watched a video on YouTube because you had to fix a faucet, or you had to fix a squeaky door, or you had to fix something around the house, right? When a problem happens, it's just human nature for us to want to fix it. So we actively seek solutions that we can fix. Now, this is fantastic in the business sense for two reasons. Number one, if you can identify what problems your target audience is facing, and you truly have the ability to solve those problems for them, number one, they're probably going to pay you for it because they are looking for solutions. And so you could create product offerings around these problems, but also you can use this as messaging, right? So if you actually have a target audience of homeowners and they're looking for simple, easy tips on how exactly to fix certain things around the house, maybe you offer a series that actually provides all of that. Maybe you offer something that helps ensure that your child is healthy on a daily basis. Maybe you offer something that helps athletes take it to the next level with their performance. If we can identify the problems that our target audience faces and our segments face on a regular basis, and if we can provide effective solutions to help them overcome those problems, we can garner a whole new base of customers and of loyal customers, and that can also serve as a tool for our messaging, right? So we got passions, we got goals, problems. Next, frequently asked question. There is a company that has made trillions of dollars based on frequently asked questions. It is called Google. How many times have you experienced a question that you encountered and immediately you wanted to find a solution? And so you Googled or you did a search engine, right? This is what we call dissonance. See, curiosity is the gap between what we want to know and what we actually do know. So if there's something that we want to know and we don't know it, it creates dissonance. It drives us nuts. It gives us an uneasy feeling. It's a feeling that causes us to immediately try to resolve what that curiosity is. Right now, your target audience has questions. Right now, your target audience is actually searching for things on the search engines at this moment. Your target audience is probably searching social media for reels on certain things. What are they searching? What questions do they have? What are they seeking answers for? Because if they're actively, right now, if they're actively seeking for answers, and you can actually provide them with those answers, guess what? They're going to engage in your brand's content, or they will engage in your brand's products, or they will engage in your brand's branding, right? So what questions are they asking on a consistent basis? Okay. Next, ideal image. What is your target audience's ideal image? I often use the example of a Rolex. No one buys a Rolex to tell time. Let's just be realistic. No one buys a Rolex to tell time. We can go to Walmart for $5 if we want to tell time. We buy a Rolex. Why? Because it shows a status of luxury. We're trying to portray the ideal image as someone that has status, as someone that has luxury, of someone that has money. That's why we buy a Rolex. You do not buy a Ferrari just because you need to get around town. You buy a Ferrari because of the status that it comes with it, okay? Now, those are high ends of status ideal images, but there also might be other types of ideal images of your target audience. Well, if you are if your target audience is athletes, maybe their ideal image is that athletic person that can always perform. Maybe that individual, their ideal image is that someone that just has a cool, collective, casual style to them. Maybe your target audience is outdoorsy and they want to be known as that adventurous, rugged individual. You know, I go back to the example of Jeep and smart car. People buy a Jeep a lot of times because they want to go off-roading, or they want to have a rugged persona, or they want to have the image that's associated with the Jeep. Sometimes someone will buy a smart car for the same exact thing. They want to be seen as someone who is potentially eco-friendly, right? What is the ideal image of your target audience? Is it entrepreneurial? Is it a fashionista? Is it the caring mom? Is it the dad who's always there to deliver and provide? Whatever it is, if we can identify the ideal persona of our target audience, and then through our messaging, we can align our messages in line with that ideal persona, or we can create offerings that help the target audience become that buyer persona, then that actually helps us take our business to the next level. Okay? So you have passions, you have goals, you have frequently asked questions, and you have the ideal image. These are your active descriptors. So you got to select your key segment first. You got to provide a descriptive personality of your target of this segment, and then you have to do an active description of your segment. Okay? Number 4, repeat. Repeat. Segment, describe, active, repeat. Segment, describe, active, repeat. Segment, describe, active, and repeat. Okay. Again, it's ideal for you to have a persona on the different segments that you do business with because they're all going to be different. Again, don't drive yourself nuts. Do one at a time. Focus on the first segment that you want to put all your efforts into first. Then go to the second. Then go to the third. And then in time, as you grow your business, do one segment at a time. All right. But the idea is that now after this exercise, whenever you're creating a marketing campaign or you're looking to create new products, you just go to your buyer persona and you look at, okay, what makes my target audience tick? What motivates them? How can I create messages in line with that? Boom. I'm perfect. I got something right there. Okay. Now, this is just a handy guide. You guys can use this. You don't have to use this, but you can download this in the actual lesson file. If you're not a member, make sure you read this description below, and it'll tell you how you can become one, right? Buyer persona. So this right here has everything, right? You get your buyer persona title. The image, you can actually swap this image out for an image that is in line with who your buyer persona is. Passions, goals, problems, pain points, ideal image, frequently asked questions, about me. This would be the descriptive elements, right? Whether it's the demo or the people or entertainment, whatever is most important to the target. The key is you want to create one of these profiles for your segments. You keep it on file, and then when you have a messaging or a new product that you want to create, you can pull up this file, and that can help guide you. Okay? Now, that concludes our section, our main section on targeting. This is the base entry level. We will have more advanced training that goes deeper into these strategies. But this is the targeting curriculum. So if you've done everything right, you've identified who your different segments are, you have been able to identify what market tier each segment is, you have identified what sequence of what segment you should target first, second, third, so on and so forth. And now you have an actual personality profile, a buyer persona on each one of those segments. Now the job is not done. This is just the foundation. This is only the core. This is only the core. In future videos, we're going to talk about, okay, how do we create offerings based on this information? How do we create profitable processes based on this information? How do we create engaging messaging based on this information? And how can I hire and make sure I have a team of people who can execute these offerings based on this information? All right, guys, so I look forward to seeing you in future videos. See you soon.